Hi, Marcus. My name is Crystal. It's my real name. It's not Nancy. And I chose to do this via video because I kind of got a headache and I really couldn't type a whole lot. Now that I know what you think or what you hear when you hear people say the white man, I'm able to respond to your last comment stating that we all prejudice is taught and that all slave owners are dead and all slaves are dead, and how we all need to just think about each other as one, and how our children will also need to follow this trend to make the world a better place. The first thing I'll have to say is this world will never be a better place until we all acknowledge the fact that we have all done wrong. All. However, this world will never be a better place if we try to put each other all on the same equal level playing field, because unfortunately that's not the truth. White people have only been in rule of this present day world for almost about 600 years. So they're very new to this power thing. I'm in no way, shape, or form expecting white people to be out of power anytime soon. People of melanin or of black skin, Kemetic people, ruled this earth for 16,000 years. In essence, black people have had their time. It's the white man's time to show whether or not he can shine in God's light or whether or not he will fail in the devil's presence. We see things like chattel slavery being the white man's way of, if you will, the white man, previous slave owners and all type of other stuff, people of the Caucasus Mountains being the devil's adversaries, if you're a spiritual person. So before I go on to what I'm about to say, I guess I have to give a little prelex to how I feel and things that I think. My children too will know how to treat all people the same, and they will learn how to love all people, and they will know no judgment, and they will know how to communicate with all people. They'll know this stuff because their mother is a product of slavery. I'm a product of slavery the same way every black person that I meet today is a product of slavery. And if we ever start to forget that we are a product of slavery, that's exactly what will hold us back. That's the reason why black people are in the positions that they're in now. We got comfortable. We got very comfortable. We got a little piece of freedom, and we forgot exactly who we were. And that's exactly how you end up with mass incarceration and why you end up with more prisons than schools. Because people forget. People forget, and they forget to heal. When you get into a breakup, people tell you, I'm going to forgive you, but I'm never going to forget. And oftentimes, when I hear this talk of we and or all, or black people need not to be prejudiced, I think people forget that we've never been given the opportunity to truly be prejudiced until now, in my opinion. It just baffles me sometimes when a black person chooses to speak up on black issues. There always has to be someone saying, we all need to get along. We all need to learn each other's history. We wouldn't even have to say that if people didn't dismiss black people the way they do, or if black students didn't have to sit in a classroom and learn about Irish and learn about Asians and learn about Mexicans before they learn about themselves. It baffles me that I knew everything about Hmong people before anybody else in my classroom knew about my people. It baffled me when I had to literally bring books that my teacher had never heard about to support the fact that Egyptians were black. I did this kind of stuff in 8th grade, in 9th grade, in 10th grade. So as a black woman, it's hard for me to sit and just be like, yeah, I'm going to put my kids in this public education system that virtually forces history upon me that's not my history. I'm sorry, I can't relate to Irish history. I'm not Irish. I can't relate to Hmong history because I'm not Hmong. But what I will do is I will sit there and I will learn about them because I respect all people. But whenever you bring up the Nile River or you bring up black people ruling the earth for 16,000 years, or you bring up Phoenicians teaching the people of the Caucasus Mountains how to read, write, and be civilized, whenever you talk about anything relevant to black greatness, it will always be combated with people saying it has to be all of us. So forgive me if I made you feel like I was attacking you, but unfortunately my very black children are going to have to learn their very black history first before they can ever truly acknowledge anyone else's history, because I didn't learn myself until I acknowledged my history first. I had to go on your Facebook page, and it seems that you are a mixed man, meaning you have to do both. So I feel for you, my brother. You have to do both because you have to do both. The nice thing about choosing which side you want to be on sometimes is that you can choose to neglect the other side. And that's ultimately what white people choose to do when they want to throw in the all of us. They don't ever just take a second to be like, you know what, let me actually learn about these black people here. And the ones that do are the ones that create beautiful children that will ultimately change this world. And black people aren't perfect either. You're right. Prejudiceness is prejudiceness. I don't even know if that's a word 'cause it's real late. But you're 100% right. That is taught. It's 100% taught. I was taught from a very early age, don't bring nothing that ain't your skin tone to this front door. Why? Well, due to my history. Due to my people's history. Last but not least, you said all slaves were dead and all slave owners were dead. I urge you to do a little bit of research on the Waltons, the owners of BP, the Koch brothers, and you probably already have. These people come from old money. And you know where old money usually comes from? Cotton, sugar, and tobacco. And cotton, sugar, and tobacco are all major products that came out of slavery. Housing development is nothing but a plantation that is governed by slave catchers. Can't tell me police ain't slave catchers. You know, I hate to live my life this way, but if I don't live my life this way, then I often fall into this comfort zone. And I can't fall into this comfort zone knowing that kids in Texas are being taught that slaves were workers and they got paid through housing and clothing and food. I can't sleep at night like that. I can't sleep at night knowing that 80% of black men are behind bars. I can't sleep like that. I can't sleep and just be like, we all need to be buddies, when I know that, you know, post-traumatic syndrome of slavery is very relevant in every black person that I know. I can't sleep knowing that colorism is a thing. I can't sleep knowing that there are Asians and people of South America that are my skin tone that are getting murdered because they're my skin tone. So my children are just gonna have to know we don't live in the same world that we lived in, that our ancestors lived in 16,000 years ago. And I still feel my ancestors that live inside of me. So for me to ever say that slaves are no longer here would be very naive, would be very disrespectful, in my opinion, because we all have opinions. But this 10-minute video has to come to an end, and I will watch your white privilege video as well too, because, you know, I've kind of indulged in the minor white privilege, being from some prairie. I'm such a well-spoken black gal that I tend to get all these jobs. But as soon as they learn that, you know, I happen to have a little ethnic in me, things start to change. So I can't wait to watch your video. I'll probably watch it tonight or tomorrow. But peace and hair grease, Mr. Marcus Johnson.